best is yet to come.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome from Cape Town, South Africa. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi, Brigitte.
Hi, Viola. How are you today?
I'm very, very well. It's all starting to just merge. Days are becoming weeks, weeks are becoming months. It's all just starting to merge. I think it's that time. But we're very close.
I like that word merge. You know, because I'm starting to feel befuddled by the days. Like, where are we in the span of time? I had to laugh. Somebody said on one group, people are always kind of saying, can we not have a 3-day or a 4-day weekend? And tongue in cheek, happy now.
I know. There's some very funny memes going around, but there's also some very serious sort of poetry and stuff going around. And I think they always say you must be very careful of what you ask for. I know lots of moms were asking, can we spend more time with our kids? Can I get more involved with their education? Can I, spend more time with my husband? And be careful of what you ask for. We're now getting exactly all of that in doses, in like major doses. So it's just about, I think, pacing yourself at this moment and just accepting that it is what it is. It's not just merging for you. There's a lot of people where things are just starting to merge. It's just part of the course, I guess.
Yeah. And we're already on day 33. I mean, whoever would have thought that we were expecting a 2-week lockdown and we're on day 33 and there's still no end. I mean, we're relaxing the restrictions, but there's no end to the actual lockdown yet. We don't know when that's going to be at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And major concerns around the relaxation of the restrictions. There's lots of areas where people have not been adhering to the restrictions at all. And as testing increases in those areas, they're finding more and more cases. And I think what it's important for people to understand is, although there's this relaxation, we still have to be responsible, and we still have to wash our hands, and we still have to sanitize, and we still have to wear our face masks, etc. Because the last thing that you want is a major outbreak of COVID-19 again, and then have to go back to a hard lockdown. Because that's, I think, going to be more tough than it was the first time around. Because the first time around, we were all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, very excited about it. But I think this time round, we know what we, sort of are signing up for. And so a second hard lockdown, I suspect, is going to be a lot more difficult psychologically.
Oh, but absolutely.
We have a great show tonight. I'm super excited to introduce our two entrepreneurs tonight. Apologies for last night. The technology gremlins were just not, they were just not playing ball. Usually they're on our side with pom-poms and sort of chanting our name with great pride. But last night they were just not working for us at all. But tonight we have two really interesting, really interesting ladies joining us. And we're going to bring them on to the show, and then, of course, just allow them to introduce themselves to us.
Yes, absolutely. So we've got Elsa Wright. She's a senior electrical design technician, and Punkie Majola. She's also a senior engineer with the City of Ekurhuleni. And I see that Punkie's having difficulties joining us, but hopefully she can a little bit later. So I think for now we can welcome Elsa Wright for the moment. So we are focusing on ladies in energy. Punkie, if you are listening to the show, simply try and come in again, and let's see if we can get you connected. But for the meantime, let's introduce Elsa, and let's get chatting about the energy sector.
Okay.
Hi,
Good
Elsa.
evening. Hi, Brigitte and Viola. Thank you very much for that introduction. I'm a bit taken aback by that picture of me and that beautiful introduction.
I know. It's all part of our plot. It's all part of
Is
our
it?
plot. Yeah.
To get us all looking like
I
bright-eyed and
know.
bushy-tailed.
I know. It's lockdown. Nobody's too worried about anything anymore. So don't stress.
No,
Um,
definitely not.
Elsa,
Thank you
thanks
for
for
having us on
joining
the
us.
show here.
Thanks for joining us.
It's a
Punkie,
big pleasure. And
we're trying to get Punkie back.
Oh,
we
okay.
are trying to get Punkie back, but in the meantime, I just want to say a warm welcome to our audience. Welcome to everyone watching us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. Welcome to the show. And so for now, we've got Elsa Wright with us, and we're waiting for Punkie to join. But let's dive into our conversation. So for the meantime.
Elsa, do you want to just tell us a little bit about your background? Just tell us about your organization, your role, just a little more than our 1 or 2 sentence intro gave the audience. Can you just give us a little more detail about what you do?
Certainly, Viola. I work for a company called Matleng Energy Solutions. We started end of 2014, 2015. Before that, I've been in the electrical consulting environment since 2002. Worked my way through, obviously, the years, various companies. And then we decided, partners and myself decided, nope, it's time to go on our own. So we did. And we've been very blessed, I must say. We've really built up a good business in Matleng Energy. We've got quite a strong team of engineers working for us and with us. I wouldn't say for us. We're more like a family and a team, although we're all individuals. We all work together and, yeah, just share the load. So it's been a great learning curve, and yes, that's where I hail from.
Why the energy sector? Is there anything specific about the energy sector that you find meets your personality, is attractive? Why the energy sector?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't know if I should say it here, but it actually happened by chance. The energy sector, as I was studying mechanical engineering originally, and I started working as a draftsperson for an electrical engineering company. This was way back in 2002. And then while I was working for them, they offered me a bursary if I change over to electrical engineering. So I changed for the bursary. But I haven't been, I'm very happy I did. I must say I've enjoyed that space, probably more than I would have the mechanical side. And it's been very good for me, and I've really progressed, far in it. Awesome. So, it was a good choice, yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you, how has COVID-19, the hard lockdown, working from home, how have all those things actually affected you personally, and how has it affected your work?
Well, personally, obviously with everyone else, I'm assuming, it's just an inconvenience because we can't do what we love outdoors anymore. We're restricted from our hobbies, which is, my hobbies are paddling and sailing. So not being able to do that and looking at the ocean every day longingly is a bit hard. But it's given me time to get to all those books which I say I'm going to read and never get to. So that's helped in that personal space to get to all the books that I've put aside for one day. And then on the workspace, it's actually also been very good. Lots of the work I do online or on a computer if I'm not on site. So it hasn't really stopped the speed in that regard with work. And it also has given chance for planning ahead, for research, for reading those sector-specific papers that people have written that you also don't get chance for when you're in the office or busy. There's always someone interrupting or knocking on the door. So it's really given time to focus on all those I'd like to get to things. I want to read it one day. I want to do that. So actually, it's been good. There's a positive side to it. I know everyone just looks at the negative, but there is an upside to it as well.
Okay, tell us what has been the upside for you. What is your silver lining in the midst of all of this?
The upside is, as I mentioned, is just being able to reflect and organize thoughts and think of the future. And being able to have that time now to think of the future, to be able to plan for different possibilities, how to do the work differently, how we can, even after lockdown's finished, use this model that we sort of refining now into the future, especially with technology. I know the technology's let us down this evening, but with the technology, there's so much we can actually do, not being in an office or working as we are working now.
Absolutely.
So, and that's interesting, investigating all, like in this couple of days, I've become an expert in all the online chats, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Skype for Business.
Yes. I think all of us have, everybody. And what's the strangest thing now is there's just like so many Zoom links coming into your inbox, in one day, and I'm going, oh my goodness, I've got to meet I've got to be at the right meeting at the right time. So I think that's quite interesting. But in terms of your, so you clearly are still, fully engaged with your team members and so on. Do you guys have that split between essential workers and non-essential workers? Are there some of your team that is split as essential, or are all of you deemed non-essential at this time?
Yeah. Actually, all of our team, we've only got 2 members in the team that I would say are non-essential at this stage, and that was some of the admin ladies. Okay. But they're having a relaxed time at home. We chat with them on WhatsApp and phone them, just to make sure they're all right and coping and, still happy. For the rest of us, all technical guys, we do have a MS Teams meeting every day, every morning at 8:00, just to discuss the projects that we're all busy with. Because, like I said, obviously all the municipalities, everyone's still working just from home. Yeah. So all the paperwork part of a project can be sorted out and can still be done. It's just the execution now that's obviously going to be a little bit delayed. But that's fine, because that means we can actually catch up in a sense, if I want to call it that. If you had a project that, was short on time, for some people this is actually a good thing, because it's giving them time to catch up before the execution starts and to do all that nitty-gritty stuff you need to do. Yes.
Absolutely. A lot of our guests are saying that, they're saying that it's been an amazing opportunity to just, I think, regroup, re-strategize, just look at those kinds of things. But in terms of your well-being and the well-being of your staff, I mean, it's been over 30 days of basic self-isolation. How are you guys coping in terms of your well-being, in terms of your mental health? How are you supporting your team? Is there anything specific that you're doing besides the sort of WhatsApp calls?
I must say we're very fortunate with a team that's built up of strong individual people who are self-motivating, go-getting people. We don't really, so individually they'll thrive, on their own. It's not that there needs to be a support in that sense of the word when it comes to people who maybe get a bit depressed or, like you say, or a bit down during this time. So luckily I don't have that situation, or we don't have people like that in our group. And half of them are loopy anyway, so it's fine.
They're already there.
Yes, they were there before the lockdown.
I hope your team's going to watch this and make comments on that. But don't worry, I think it's all of us that are a bit loopy that have coped very well with the isolation, social distance.
I think so.
Excuse me, Elsa, I just want to check if Punkie can actually hear us. Punkie, can you hear us? Punkie? Okay, I'm just gonna carry on until I see a photograph or a picture or something. So Elsa, so it's really been quite interesting for some people, and I think what's really helped a lot of people is we've had so many interviews over this period, and it's been really nice to hear people have such different takes on it. Some people are extremely rigid with a very solid sort of structure. Some people have been saying they love the lockdown and the sort of work from home because they're nocturnal people. They work best at night. So they, sort of sleep until like 11 o'clock in the morning and then start working, and they're really productive from about 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And then you've got other people that say, you know what, it's our time to not have that kind of structure. I don't force my kids to get up at a certain hour. We sort of all just chilling. What is working for you? What is it a hybrid of those three? Are you sort of leaning to one side very strongly? What's been working for you to help you sort of stay sane?
I've been fortunate that I've been sort of working flexible hours or flexibly for the last
Okay.
3-4 years. Yes.
Okay.
So I've been working a lot from home, and I'm also like those people. I do a lot of my work at night
Okay.
and, relax in the day sometimes. Working 1 to 3 o'clock in the morning is not an issue for me if I take time off in the day. So I'm very flexible in that regard, as
Okay.
long as the work gets done, obviously.
Okay.
So I'm very
Okay.
rigid in that sense of the word. People can relax. You can do it in your own time as long as it's done on time.
So the output, as long as the output's there.
Output, yes.
Yeah. Hi, Punkie. Can you hear us?
Good evening.
Hi. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Elsa, if you don't mind, I'm just going to draw my attention to Punkie for a few minutes. Punkie, won't you just tell us a little bit about what you do, a little bit about your organization and the role you specifically play?
Okay. I'm a senior engineer in the City of Ekurhuleni, which is a municipality. Our role, we focus a lot on service delivery, which is one of our mandates as the municipalities. So on a daily basis, we work with projects. We run projects in terms of strengthening of the network optimization, but we are faced with a lot of challenges in terms of theft in the network. We are faced with quite a few challenges as the municipalities, non-payment of customers and all that.
Okay. And tell me, how big is your team in terms of all of you? Are you sort of essential workers and non-essential workers at this time, or all of you sort of non-essential?
Currently, my team is essential worker because we are focusing a lot on the maintenance of the network currently. So all of my team is actually essential workers. So they are actually all on site currently. So I don't have any of my team members that are at home.
Okay, and how are they coping? And we've spoken to a lot of people who are non-essential and sort of working from home. How do you find your teams coping with the idea of being out, and sort of facing the risks that we are fortunate not to have to face?
With the essential workers, it's very tricky because there are so many questions that are being asked because they are in the face of the public, so they are forever in households, reconnecting customers, assisting customers. So those are the people that are asking a lot of questions in terms of corona, to say, if I have washed my hands before I enter the client's house, is that good enough for me? Must I wash again as I enter? The PPE as well, which is a challenge in terms of ensuring that we have enough stock of PPE, because the gloves are used, it's a once-off use, your mask is a once-off use. So if you have a team of about 70 personnel, having to get PPE on a daily basis, it's a challenge. So we will have to start looking at ways in terms of how do we start phasing in your cloth masks, because buying your disposable masks daily as well, cost-wise, it's very expensive. So as management, we need to sit down and start looking at what ways can be used to be able to use PPE, but cost effectively as well.
Yeah.
Because
and then
they are always in the face of the public.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's the whole idea of recycling that. How do you actually recycle that kind of waste? Because it's so important. We've sort of started this recycling, sort of culture in South Africa. And now we are taking masks and gloves and sort of starting to just pack them into our dirt bins. I think that's one of the things that we've sort of started asking now, is how do you actually start dealing with that? Punkie, tell me, how has the pandemic and the lockdown affected you personally?
On a personal space, it's affecting you because on the spiritual side, as you are a Christian, you're used to going to church. In terms of going to the gym, are you training enough? Health-wise, how is one's health in terms of this? Having to look after the kids. I mean, if you've got kids that are going to school, having to do homeschooling as a mother, being at home. So there's a lot expected as you, especially as a mother, because
Okay, Punkie, we've lost you. It's actually gone to mute. Excuse me, is it possible for you to unmute at the bottom? Excuse me, Elsa, can you
Yes.
still hear us? Okay, Elsa,
I
let me
can
ask
hear
you,
you. Yes.
and are you self-isolating, if I may ask, sort of on your own, or are you with family?
It's just my husband and myself. No
Okay.
children and no other family with us, yeah.
Okay. And the two of you are not sort of trying to share an office. You've all both got your corner that you run to when you need to.
Yes.
Okay, great. Let me ask, in terms of this whole, one of the things we talk about quite a lot on the Cappuccino Club, which we've been ignoring actually, and not talking about enough, is this whole issue around gender empowerment. As a woman in the energy sector, how do you feel that the gender is actually being represented? Do you feel that lots of women are entering the sector, or is it still sort of very male dominated?
Well, currently, since 2015 or the space, since we've become involved with, I don't know if you're aware of WE, which is also sort of something that Yolanda is doing. And before the WE, I must say, I didn't come across a lot of women in the field. It was still very much male. But actually, since meeting most of those women and being involved with the WE, I was actually amazed at how many women there are in the energy space in South Africa. And actually, since then, it's sort of as if you see more women in the space outside of WE, if you know what I mean, just out there in the field and being in the environment. So I don't know if that's just opened my eyes to it, or if there are actually a lot more women. But I do think there are a lot more women coming out, studying engineering, studying things that used to be mostly male-dominated or male subjects, if you think of it that way. Studying that and coming into the energy sector, which is great. And there's no reason they can't. And I mean, most of them stand their own and have achieved quite a lot over the years.
That's true. I must tell you that, just in the roles that I've had and having to engage with women in energy, and they're strong, competent women, which I think is amazing. It would be great to see more of them sort of in the sort of public sort of, those kinds of roles. But I know that a lot of the women that I've met in the energy sector are just phenomenal women. So that's quite exciting. Right. Let me ask you this question. Okay. In your view, what role can business actually play in supporting women during this time? In other words, what kind of interventions can companies come up with that will uniquely assist the challenges that women face during this COVID-19 pandemic? In your mind, what do you think that would be?
What I think businesses could do, and I know lots of them are doing it, but the only way I see that they could meaningfully support women during this time is just obviously to be more flexible, to allow the woman the flexibility to be able to do or fulfill their roles as a person who works and maybe a mother and a wife, and those responsibilities at home. Further than that, there's not much else, but obviously with that flexibility comes a lot of responsibility on the woman's side as well, because you still have to, if your company's now entrusted you with this flexibility and trust you to do what you need to do, for the company. So obviously there's a mutual understanding there that things must still happen. We've given you this flexibility, but you still need to produce. But so in my view, that's about the only thing they can do. Not every woman's situation is similar. Not everyone has kids or, a husband that's needy or, lots of responsibility at home. So I think they should take every situation as unique, or every woman that needs assistance or needs a flexibility should be treated as an individual situation.
Yeah. And I think the good thing is for us to start communicating. I mean, we should be communicating with our bosses, communicating with our colleagues to say, this is the level of support I'm actually looking for. This is the level of support that I need. How can you help me? I fully agree with you. Everybody's got their own sort of stuff going on at the moment, and everybody's got their unique sort of set of challenges. But I think it is important for women in business to start talking to their colleagues, start talking to to their bosses. And I think also just trying to find the network that works for them. So we's an example in the energy sector. The Cappuccino Club, which is something that we started, is another example of just a space where women are safe, where they can sort of talk and help each other and be there to support each other.
Yes.
Your energy, your focus, your resilience, those are the things that we've been focusing on for this week. These are
Yes.
all precious commodities. How do you feel and how do you think you could possibly continue to be resilient and continue to be enthusiastic and continue to have all this energy and focus through the next few weeks, considering that the pandemic is going to be with us for a while?
Yes. Well, I believe that if you're doing something that you love doing, the energy will come naturally.
Okay.
Well, that is how it works for me. Other people, I'm not sure. I'm sure there are people who are in positions maybe that they don't really enjoy being in, and then it's a struggle. Every day is a struggle.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just I'm doing what I enjoy doing, so the energy flows naturally. I don't need to, go and be uplifted somewhere. So I believe that if you just are who yourself, just be yourself, do what you need to do, or do what you enjoy doing, then it should be easy.
Okay. That's true.
That's just my
Yeah. Well, look, we are coming to an end. The show's coming to an end. I just want to ask one last question. A young lady watching you saying, wow, she's got it together. I've got to make this difficult choice about my career. I'm interested in the energy sector. What would your advice be to a young lady looking to enter the energy sector? Where are good, sustainable jobs? Where are jobs that you'd make a good impact? Where do you think you'd be able to advise or direct young ladies to?
Sure, that's a difficult one. I don't want to ruin anyone's future careers here, but I'll tell them to make sure that's really their passion, being in the energy sector.
Yeah.
Because it is not. Everyone thinks of it as, oh, I'm an engineer, I'm out there in the field, I'm, doing all these wonderful things until they do it. And then they realize, oh, this is maybe actually not something I really wanted to do. So they must be sure of what they want to do. And then starting off with municipalities, I didn't work for a municipality, but the practical experience you gain there is very valuable. So coming up through a municipality and getting that practical knowledge as an engineer is always good. I work in the consulting space. So for me, the natural step would then to tell them to get into the consulting if they, if they have that opportunity. Because the other thing that the consulting environment does is, I wouldn't say the expertise is different, but the people you can interact with. In a municipality, you can't always necessarily interact with the certain level of personnel or senior people that you can learn from. The mentorship and the ways you get that in a consulting firm. We're very, very big on the mentorship. So get into a space or a company that have a good mentorship program and that still have some of those senior guys that you can really learn from.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answered the question or helped, but yeah.
It did. I also think it's important, to get into a municipality or even a big corporate. Can we say a SOE or a corporate? I think anything that teaches you the discipline of a big, entity, the business disciplines, I think that's quite good. And then, of course, allows you to have the opportunity to practice your art across various areas, So that's excellent. Elsa, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so sorry that Punkie had to, sort of hop off halfway through, but thank you very much for joining us. I think your insights are amazing. Brigitte?
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
It's a real pity that unfortunately due to technology, we couldn't enjoy more of the conversation with Punkie, but hopefully we can make it happen on another occasion.
Yeah, I would have absolutely loved to hear, there's just certain questions that a lady who's in business and has kids and, is trying to just balance all these things. It would be fantastic to hear from her how she things. The role of women's being reshaped by the fact that we're back in our homes. We're not going out to work. We're working from home. Is that whole role being reshaped? Is it taking us back 10 years in terms of the kids sort of seeing us at home and expecting us to, sort of get them lunch and dad sitting there as well, those kinds of things. I think it would be interesting to just hear from some, very real, authentic South African women how they are experiencing this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Punkie's got 21 years of experience in electrical engineering. So she's got, a lot of experience under her belt. And she's also very, very passionate about mentorship of young girls into STEM.
Yeah.
So, we need women like her that is on the forefront of assisting or giving. I mean, that's what the Cappuccino Club is all about, right?
Absolutely.
Is
Absolutely.
helping other women and, trying to rise as a collective. We don't need to put other people down in the process of rising ourselves. And so she's one of those women at the forefront of helping the younger generation get into the energy sector.
Yeah, I would have loved to hear from her, but maybe next time, maybe when we do have a slot on the show again, we could just invite her back and just hear from her. The little bit that we heard from her was amazing. Elsa was amazing. She's just so, she just comes across as extremely competent, extremely confident about what she's doing. Really got some really good advice from her at the end of the show. So thanks very much to our guests.
Oh, absolutely. And we're hoping to, we're going to see if we can get some of the tech sorted out with them. We're hoping to bring the energy sector back on Friday and Saturday, but we'll try and see if we can get workarounds around the tech for Friday and Saturday. Yeah. But tomorrow, we're going to switch gears just a little bit, and we're going to take a look at the water sector to see how the water sector in South Africa has been affected by COVID-19. And we are hoping to have Professor Anthony Turton and also Benoit Leroy of the South African Water Chamber. They will be with us tomorrow evening discussing the water sector, because there's some very interesting developments that have come out of the water sector, and we'll hear all about that tomorrow. I'm not going to spoil anything.
Cool.
Anything else special that you want to mention before we close off? We kind of
nothing at all.
Out of time.
Absolutely looking forward to tomorrow. Very excited about speaking to them about the water sector and its connection to COVID-19. Really excited about that. We go back to our ladies in energy on Friday and Saturday. Thank you to our guests. Thank you to our audience. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Thanks for watching, everyone. And do remember, even though we're on day 33, fake news and disinformation about COVID-19 is still very real. It's still causing confusion. And so we ask that you be careful before you hit the share button. Please pause, think before you're sharing, and do check your facts. So from me, Bridget in the Banda in Cape Town in South Africa, it's goodbye for now.
Bye. Bye-bye.